Hi, I'm Leigh-Chantelle from Viva and I'm here today with Jared from Alternative Explorers, which is a new online video series that's about to happen.
Correct.
When's that going to happen?
We're actually going to have the website, which obviously is going to have the web series on it, launch. We're going to review everything on the 1st of August, and then I believe a couple days after, if everything is how we want it to be, it will start to hit the internet and hopefully go viral, and then we're going to go from there.
So what's the plan with it? What's the target audience?
The whole premise behind the show is it's based about and around people or organizations that are doing things for the environment, other people, or for animals. And the reason why I got asked to be a co-host on the show was because I live a vegan straight edge lifestyle and I'm fairly young. I'm in my mid-20s, and my co-host slash boss, the brains behind the operation, she is neither of those things and is in her mid-40s, so it shows a very big gap in generation. Right. Yeah. But also at the same time, the target behind it is to not make anyone feel, I guess, guilty or bad for what they do, but to really just bring forth awareness of different things out there. Like, people might not know of certain animal rescues. They might not know of what gluten-free is. They might not even know what veganism is, or maybe how easy it can be. Things like Reiki, healing touch, some of the sort of, things of that nature that aren't all about heavy medication and stuff. So we just wanted to show, that two separate people, because we have two different lifestyles, can still meet in the middle and have that out there for people.
Yeah,
so
great idea.
Very excited for it. And hopefully, all the networking stuff works out. We're just really pushing to try to get the pilot stuff ready and get some fundraising for it. And
so where can people go to the website if they want to help fundraise?
So far, the website that we're going to use is called whatareyoulookingat.com. It's completely different, obviously, than the name of Alternative Explorers, just because we wanted to grab the attention. It's what are you looking at? So it's kind of like, that's what we're exploring too. We're looking at everything, and we want to, we want to go everywhere and everywhere we can. So hopefully that works. And if you can't remember that, then obviously once the website is actually up and running, just type in Alternative Explorers and it should pop up too. So
easy. And you were saying before you're vegan and straight edge.
Correct.
Tell me, what does straight edge mean?
Sure. Straight edge is a lifestyle that consists of abstaining from drugs, alcohol, and other destructive substances, such as like smoking, cigarettes and tobacco and stuff. And many people too also refrain from promiscuous sex, just because they want to have a healthy outlook and healthy body and know where they've been. And it started, pretty much the movement started in the early to mid 80s. Was an offshoot of the punk rock movement, and then became hardcore music.
And I've heard it started when you used to have the cross on your hands because you were underage getting into gigs. Is that right?
Yep. The X is a symbol of straight edge, just because, like you said, a lot of times at bars, at times back then especially, bars were the only venue for music to be played. So if you were underage, to the bartender, having a big black X was easy to see that I can't serve you. Eventually, people there started to become bands that were preaching straight edge, the message, and people started putting their own ones on before they went to shows, even if they were 21 or older. And that's really where the movement, I think, started to really push forward, because people were starting to say, I am straight edge, I live this way, and the ideology started to go from there, and it's still fairly present and relevant to nowadays.
So with like a straight edge culture, are a lot of people vegan within it?
It tends to be
or it's just more music.
Like straight edge and veganism have this weird way of going together because of the music culture that it came from. I think a lot of it is because being vegan, as you know, or even vegetarian, you're an activist in a way, whether you're really out there doing demos or if it's just sort of something you maybe inform people that aren't of. which is a lot more of what I do. I talk to people that might not really know what straight edge or veganism is, and I just kind of explain how it's helped me in my life. And I've really had a really big impact, I've noticed in the last couple of years doing that approach.
It's good when you make it personalized, I think. Yeah, definitely.
And so I think what I was going with that was, because that mindset is there for the animal rights movement and that lifestyle and being healthy and everything, being straight edge, the idea too behind it is having clear mind and being able to fully be aware of what's going on, when it's going on, and being an active revolutionary in what you want to complete. So it just goes hand in hand, even though there's many vegans that aren't straight edge and there's many straight edge kids that aren't vegan. And when I became straight edge, which I'm going on 13 years, which they consider a fairly long time because a lot of people do break, I was straight edge for probably 5, 6, 7 years before I even became vegetarian. Then I became vegetarian for 2 years, and then I've been vegan, you know, for another 5. So, but through straight edge, it opened me up more to really realizing what the other half was, and to me, personally, it completes it together. They complete a bigger thing for me. So.
And so when I tell people I'm straight edge, why do people laugh at me? Is it because I wear colour all the time, or because I don't like that sort of music?
I happen to be all in black. The thing is with straight edge, it tends to be very, it can be sort of, not exclusive, but there's a bond to it. There's a, they say a brotherhood or a sisterhood. I mean, there's plenty of people that are out there being drug-free, whether it's by choice or they just don't really partake in anything. For me, having the label is really, really important because growing up, came from, you know, a upper middle class area, so kids were really privileged and they were able to drink really young. I never felt the need to do that because I felt like I have personality and I had to be a center of attention a lot too, so it would have gotten me into a lot of trouble. So being able to say, hey, I'm straight edge, there's also like-minded people like me, it made it just easier saying, no, I'm not going to drink, I don't need to smoke, versus, well, you know, I just don't really do anything. And not saying that people need to have the label either. I think people that don't have a label too are super strong because you can just be you and do you. There's people like me that need to have a label, and it just helped back my beliefs, and it just made it a quicker and easier conversation. People kind of go, oh, okay, that's why, instead of a whole long drawn out thing. So I hope that kind of answered that question. It all comes out of that music scene, but I'm also a firm believer, and I've noticed it needs to branch out, and it has been branching out, because you can't just keep preaching to the converted already. You need to, if you really want to be successful, and I think it's with any type of movement, you know, you want to reach the people that don't know about it. And you don't want to force it down people's throats either. I mean, that approach works sometimes, but I don't want someone telling me, oh, like, you should eat meat, you should drink, you should smoke. No, I shouldn't, because that's not my thing. And I'm not going to be like, even though I really would wish the world was vegan straight edge, because I do see a lot of benefits to it. It'll never happen, I'm realistic, but, you know, if I
we can give it a go.
Yeah, if you can really just get it out there, it's important, you know.
And you would know in Australia in particular how much of the alcohol culture that we have, and because this shirt you're wearing is a Motive Clothing Company shirt,
which is
or hoodie, sorry, and you've gone overseas to
your lovely country,
my country, to go on tours with hardcore bands.
Yep, correct.
To promote. What, veganism, Motive, bands?
Yep, because Motive Company is a vegan straight edge clothing company.
And I've done an interview with Linwood.
Who's
check out.
The one co-owner. And I was fortunate enough to be asked to come over on tour with a straight edge band called The War that is from Australia.
Where are they from?
They're spread out throughout the country where they live now. I believe at one point it was Brisbane at one point, your hometown, but I think it changed, and they're sort of inactive right now, but I think they're trying to get things back going. But there is, I don't know now, because that was a couple years ago, how the straight edge scene is there, but from just hearing the stories from them, plus the people that are into the music, there sort of was at the point where we were in the 80s, and I wasn't around going to shows in the 80s then, but from all the history you read about things, so, like you said, your culture is really heavy in alcohol consumption. So they you know, like 20 years later almost, we're just breaking kind of new ground like how we did back in the 80s. So I thought it was really amazing that they're really adamant about being, you know, drug-free and clear thought and all that stuff, and refraining from, you know, other substances. And you know, it was a really good experience. And
where did you get to go with the band?
I'm so horrible with geography, but I went pretty much to the whole coast. Yeah, we did. We didn't get into Perth or anything like that, but we went from the top all the way pretty much down to Adelaide.
Yeah, cool.
And back.
That's
so
good.
it was a lot of driving, but it was a lot of fun.
Cool.
And I can't wait to come back in September just to hang out.
Yeah. I look forward to being a really good tour guide for you when you come in September.
That'll work.
And so thank you very much, Jared, for taking the time.
I appreciate the chance to get to do this, and I think what you do is awesome. And you're probably the queen of networking.
You know
and
it.
That accent gets you far around here.
Thanks, sweetheart.
Thank you very much.
He's a very good friend of mine, in case you can't tell. But yeah, have a look at vivalavegan.net for more interviews with inspiring vegans.